Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're a couple days removed from the launch of the latest mini set in Hearthstone, Echoes of the Infinite, and we have some decks to recommend to climb with, whether it's in Standard or Wild and you're trying to get to Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, or Legend. Some of these decks contain new cards. Some of them do, not all of them. Some of them do, and we even have like one or two kind of new decks to recommend. This mini set hasn't changed a ton, but there are some refined lists, some newer strategies out there, so we will go through all of those. And of course, if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as it helps the channel out a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of similar stuff going on here. Let's just start off with one of the best decks in Standard, in Cliff Dive Demon Hunter. Of course, you have the 7-mana Cliff Dive card to cheat out stuff like Illidari Inquisitor, Spirespawn Drake. You could Califero if you have a full board, get a bunch of crazy stuff. And in the early game, you've got Blabatar, which you can bring back with Ravenous Fell Hunter, Return Policy, and of course, Elise. Even though we're playing Cliff Dive, we run Elise because she's broken in most decks. And yeah, this deck's doing pretty darn well. And again, no new cards, but relatively easy to play and very, very powerful. Another deck running, I don't believe, any new cards is Elise Rogue. We will have an BBU Rogue list to recommend later. It's not as good as a lot of the other decks, but it seems to be playable, and hopefully I'll get a gameplay video out on that soon. Regardless, yeah, the Elise Rogue that popped up the last few weeks before the mini set launch, you know, the focus on Elise, but burgling with like Deja Vu, Nightmare Fuel, maybe Mirexing, another Elise. You got the late game in there of a bunch of value in Shaman and running cards like Opu, Dethrone, Sandbox Scoundrel, mostly to activate our Elise condition, but they have some utility, can do some things, and you can play for early tempo like Foxy Fraud and Flashback can be really nice. Of course, Creature of Madness, but really fun deck to play. I do enjoy this deck. Again, just not really new cards in there, but definitely one you can climb within. To me, it is pretty darn fun. Death Knight does have a new card. The deck has changed up a little bit, not a ton. Giants have kind of been cut lately, and we have the new Remnant of Rage. Two of these that can become 0 mana, draw 2 cards or play it for cheaper, but the rest of the deck remains basically the same, right? It's the whole strategy with, you know, Elise. You've got Shaladristle that you can corrupt depending on your Exarch Maladar. People have been trying out Kerrigan. I haven't tried this list myself. I will be trying it soon. Might get a gameplay video on this one as well relatively soon, but overall, yeah, it's basically a mid-range pile of cards that just does a lot of good stuff. You have a lot of inevitability with like Foam Render and Elise and possibly Grifted Amulets. It's just an all-around really good deck. It annoys me that some people call it control. It's just a really, really solid mid-range deck that happens to run one board clear. So yes, it's a control deck, but no. And of course, your early game is somewhat limited, but you curve out with like Morbid Swarm, Creature of Madness, Dreadout Handler, can do some really good stuff. So very powerful deck. Might be the best deck in the meta, to be honest. It's early, but it is doing really darn well. Quest Warrior, still very good deck. People have been kind of going back now to the Murazon version with the infinite damage. Really helps in the mirror. And we got cards like Bouldering Buddy for our Elise as the 7-mana card, or even like Ungoro Brochure. And basically people have ditched the Marin for more of that late game value and just trying to get Time Warp. Murazon can be really strong. Ziliax in here. By the way, whenever you see a Ziliax, you can almost always assume twin module, perfect module, as that is like the ideal version. But yeah, a lot of the newer cards are from the set, right? The expansion, not the mini set. Unleash the Crocolis for glory for the most part. But yeah, really effective deck, still doing really well, and seems to be consistently more and more refined. One of the big winners of this mini set in terms of just getting better is Aura Paladin has emerged as like a tier 2, possibly tier 1 deck, all just because Acceleration Aura. What a crazy good card. We gave it a 5 for a reason, and it is living up to that rating so far, at least for Paladin. Gets you to like Gelbin a little bit faster, can help with all of that, and can also make Manifest Timeways way better, right? You can play your Acceleration Aura on 2 into Manifested Timeways. You have that early aura for this card. So that is seeing a bit more play, and overall, haven't tried this version out myself yet, but I've seen a lot of people do really well. I know No Hands had a really good run with it, so maybe you want to give it a try. Play some Aura Paladin. It is a lot better now because of that mini set, and one of the new decks that has emerged, I guess it kind of existed before, but wasn't really prominent, is just straight up BrXqBt Demon Hunter. It's actually trying to play the card, and it got a lot more cycle with Remnant of Rage, and cards like, you know, Dangerous Cliffside can generate a bunch of tokens to help us get to that a lot cheaper. Same with like Patches the Pilot, with the Chargers, Platosaur to cycle, a lot of just cheap cards. You want to cycle through your deck and then get that BrXqBt, which you can bounce multiple times with the Youthful Brewmaster and kill your opponent that way. And you can even ceaseless to try and get through taunts and all that. And this deck is trending pretty well. Like, it's one of the better performing decks at Legend, top 1000 Legend. If you want to give it a go, it might not be complete bait, and it's all because, yeah, Remnant of Rage just gives even more cycle to this deck, which helps it out a ton. Dragon Warrior, also a big winner, obviously, from this mini set, mainly the new addition of Science Slither Drake, that 4 mana 6/9 dragon. Pretty effective, but not nearly as busted as, you know, some of us thought, because yeah, there's a lot of poisonous out there. A lot of those poisonous minions, including Whelp of the Infinite, which, by the way, this signature is sick. The Poisonous Reboard can do a lot of good work. There's 2 different versions going around, one with Elise, one without. I recommend the Elise one just because it feels like it's a bit more all around solid, although you could go with, you know, a more streamlined, it's had like Grom and a bit more reach in that one. But regardless, I just can't not recommend Elise because she's insane. And of course, Ziliax, Fyrakk in there, mostly just to achieve our Elise goals, but sometimes they can come in clutch. So yeah, Dragon Warrior doing, although it's funny, it got a big addition. It feels like it's not doing as well as maybe before the mini set launches, the way the meta is. There's also this new Frost DK. I don't know how this is supposed to be winning many games, but it's doing well at top 1K and in Diamond through Legend, so I don't know. I'd recommend it. It's got the Remnant of Rage, can help you draw some more cards. It's got Elise, of course, Stitch Giant, Ziliax, the 7 mana version with Pylon module, ticking module, because it's more of a tokeny style of deck, right? You have the Dread Raptor to cheat out those death rattles. You got token minions, and just overall, yeah, try and win through a more token strategy. Remnant of Rage really can utilize that, and very curious to see if this deck continues to trend well, because the numbers on it are pretty strong. So if you have the cards, maybe give it a go, see if it works out for you. But again, I don't know. I haven't seen people play it. I haven't played it myself. I'm just looking purely at the stats, so that you never know in the short period of time might end up being bait. So it's lower on my list. Egg Warlock, not running any new cards, I don't believe. Even like the 1 mana cycle spell, apparently not really worth it because it doesn't kill your egg mainly. Like, you really want to kill your egg. It's the same we've seen for a while. Won't go into really detail about it, but yeah, get Egg of Kelos, whether it's from the Oleg Bear, your Cursed Catacombs, kill it a bunch of times, copy the Death Rattle with Archdruid of Thorns. If that doesn't work out, Endbringer of Umbra. Hope to kill your opponent, but very one-dimensional and can be very predictable sometimes, which can make it a bit worse. Discover Hunter, obviously still really good. Don't believe it's running any new cards either. Just, you know, cheat a bunch of mana. Find Niall. You have the endgame win condition of like Neri with your Amulet from Grifta. You can get a bunch of damage from Incendious. This deck has a lot of different lines. Certainly not the easiest to pilot, but pretty rewarding if you could play it well. Just be aware, basically this entire deck is rotating. So if you don't have the cards, it's an expensive one, and certainly not one I would recommend crafting anything for, unless it's, you know, just Sylvanas, because she's amazing, and we'll see plenty of play for the next year to come. And we also have, of course, Hagatha Shaman, again, putting it lower on the list because it just doesn't have any new cards. Still performing really well. Has definitely fallen down the meta ranks, I feel like, the last month or so. Just, you know, it's good, but you just kind of have to curve out really well with Bumbling Bellhops, with your Agatha, with your Elise. Maybe you can manipulate things with Parrot Sanctuary and all of that, but this deck's been around for a while. We've talked a lot about it. Not too much more to go over. Just, yeah, try and draw Agatha. Try and draw your cards early, or, you know, you can always get Flight of the Firehawk into a big Bumbling Bellhop early. That can be really darn solid. Finally, we'll talk about the BBU Rogue. Again, this deck isn't trending super well, but like at top 1K, at Diamond through Legend, at Legend, it's exhibiting a positive win rate. It's just like there's a lot of other better decks. But yeah, you have the BBU in here, particular in Eventuality, which could give you that eventuality with the late game of those type of win conditions of just having a bunch of random cards. The Jagged Edge of Time to BBU, and Bitter Bloom Night, which you can Shadow Step and play multiple times for 0 mana. It's another Elise build, of course, because, well, Elise is pretty silly. You play Eudora because you get a bunch of minions from other classes, which you can proc your Eudora and complete it that way. Plus, it's your 1/5 for Elise, like Opu is your 6, the Throne is your 7, Malorn is an 8, but sometimes it'll be active and you can get some pretty good stuff. And maybe you get a 1 mana Akabagan, and then you can like Shadow Step and do things like that with that card. Can be pretty obscene, especially with like Ziliax and -9 health. So I'm gonna try and get a gameplay video on this hopefully tomorrow, because I've been, you know, busy with other videos, but I'm hoping to get maybe a couple days of gameplay in a row. Maybe we'll get one on BBU Rogue and maybe on the new Death Knight, and then we'll do some other discussion videos in the meantime. But yeah, I haven't done some gameplay in a while, and I think we're a little bit overdue for that. Don't worry, I won't make it on Protoss Priest. It's the only priest deck I could find with a good win rate. It's the same thing for quite a while. I don't know what else to say. Make your Protosses cheaper, play Mothership. We've had this deck for like over a year. You know the deal. If you want to play it, that's one of the better lists out there. And Quest Mage is arguably the best Quest or Mage deck out there. No new cards, because Mage didn't really get new cards this mini set or this entire year for the most part. Almost all this stuff is rotating, but I know before the mini set, Theo actually got to like top 50 Legend on the Americas and EU with this deck, mainly because it farmed Elise Rogue, and like Elise Rogue doesn't want to copy any of these cards. It's so bad for them. So yeah, if you're raising a lot of Rogue, it can be good. And sometimes, yeah, you just scam with Yogg in the box and mana cheat and all of that. But overall, yeah, Mage, Priest. I don't even think I have a Druid deck to recommend. There was like Alonia's Location. Neither look great. So those classes still not doing amazing. And for Wild, the mini set I don't think did literally anything, which is kind of to be expected sometimes. I thought that weapon would work in discard Warlock, but haven't seen it a ton. Egg Warlock, it's just so disgusting that I guess why else would you play anything else, where you get your Egg of Kelos out, then you get Umbra out, whether it's through like Sacrificial Summoner or just playing it, and then you can destroy your egg for like 0 mana, 1 mana. You have a full board, you have a 20/20, you're probably gonna kill your opponent, you could ooze for another 20/20. If they freeze it, you Starfish. Really good, very fast, gross deck. Burn Warlock, I kept running into it in my Legend climate. It is trending pretty well. It's a pretty good deck. It just plays a bunch of crappers that deal damage, and you have Expired Merchant, Soul Barrage, or Sketch Artist, which tutors the Soul Barrage, and you just kill your opponent. And if you need to get through Ice Block, you have Ashen Elemental as well. So this seems to be more preferred over straight up discard, because it just goes base, which could be pretty darn effective. Nazmani Priest is like the high legend and 8 PM deck of choice, where you get Nazmani, copy it up, cheat 1 billion mana, and basically get it down to you have infinite 0 mana light speeds on a board or any minion on the board. You kill your opponent. It's just animation turns and all that stuff you got to worry about. Libram Paladin has been good forever, still really good. You have Star Slicer to make your Librams cheaper. Of course, Aldor Attendant, slap them on, you know, your Librams onto your minions. Sometimes maybe you could kill with a Chillblade Champion and a Lanessa. Again, this deck's been around for quite a while, still really good, and I'll highlight the deck that I just took to Legend just a couple of hours ago on my stream. Dungar Malagos Druid. I think I have played Malagos more than any other card in Hearthstone history. I love this card. This is a disgusting scam combo deck. It's gross, where it utilizes mostly a cell to cheat 1 billion mana with like Sleep Under the Stars, Aviana, Eonar, all that stuff, and just kill your opponent with your Burn and Malagos with like Moonbeam, Swipe, and sometimes you could just go Champions of Azeroth. You always go the Alliance option, so you can maybe get Prophet Velen, Archmage Antonidas, and with Yssel, they're 1 mana infinite fireballs. So it's like an alternate thing in case something gets ratted, but very fast, aggressive, gross scam deck, and Shadow Reflection is really good with Eonar as well. So there you go, decks to play in Standard and Wild. Again, not a huge meta shift. We'll probably do one more deck recommendation video in like, well, actually, we'll probably get a balance patch late next week or the week after. So we'll probably have one more deck recommendation video before the pre-order will go live, likely early next month. But hopefully this will keep you guys going until then. And yeah, I'm hoping to get some gameplay videos up starting tomorrow where we'll give the yapping bit of a rest unless, you know, there's something worth talking about right away. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.